Welcome to our annual People's Choice Award ceremony. We are so happy to have you here tonight. My name is Jessica LaGrange, Assistant Principal here at Seneca. First, I would like to thank members of our Board of Education, including Cookie Eslow, who is here with us this evening. And our superintendent, Dr. Carol Birnbaum, as well as our parents and guardians for all their support of our students and programs. The People's Choice Award ceremony is a long-standing tradition. The purpose of this ceremony is to recognize students not necessarily for being the best, the smartest, or the most athletic, but those who have impressed us with their manners, their determination, their willingness to help others, their dedication, or maybe they have just made someone smile each and every day. It is now my pleasure to introduce our principal, Mr. Brad Bauer.
Thanks, Jess. Good evening, and thank you for joining us for tonight's People's Choice Awards ceremony. This is probably one of my favorite events of the year. Let me begin by thanking our Renaissance advisors, Ms. Jamie Myers, Renee Collins, and Laura Benet, for not only tonight's program, for what they do year in and year out for our school. Thank you. I would also like to thank our staff in attendance tonight. This evening is not only about recognizing our students, but it is also about you taking the time to connect with our students and allowing them to touch your heart. So thanks to our staff who nominated students tonight. Thank you. To our students here tonight, congratulations. You are not here by accident. You have done something remarkable. You have touched the life of another person, the most powerful thing you can do. I took the time to read what each of your teachers had to say about you tonight. For some of you, it was a one-time interaction. Others were for a year-long or potentially 4-year-long interaction, and some were for random acts of kindness. You see, whether you know it or not, you have the ability to impact others. You may not know who nominated you, but when you have positive interactions with people, you may truly never know the impact that you have. Tonight, we get the chance to let you know about the impact that you have had on Seneca High School. On behalf of our entire staff, thank you for touching our lives, for making our job much more than just a job, and for making Seneca a better place. Thank you for being you. Please join me in giving our students a round of applause this evening. Thank you, and enjoy the evening.
Thank you, Mr. Bauer. And now please welcome Dr. Sean Castle to the podium to announce our first People's Choice Award of the evening.
So I'm going to start by calling my People's Choice Award winner up, Zachary DeMarco Feltz. So our job as educators is to see the best in all of our students, in every one of your kids. And our hope is that our students fulfill that potential and show everyone the things that we see every day. Zach has done that, and he's done that as a freshman, which to me is remarkable. Zach has been an outstanding citizen and a great addition to Seneca High School. This year I've witnessed Zach develop into a leader and a role model right before my eyes. This is not the typical time frame for a freshman, but in his case, he chose to develop and mature. He made the decision, and he stuck with it. Not only is he a conscientious student, but someone who we can count on for years to come. I have no doubt that Zach's successes as a freshman will continue throughout his high school career and beyond. I'm proud to say that Zach is a Golden Eagle, and I'm even prouder to say that he's part of our Seneca family. Is it Zach? Next up, Mrs. Jamie Myers.
Nakir transferred into our school in March, and he's been dying to know who picked him. Transferring schools during the school year can be a scary thing for a kid to do, but it does not seem that that was the case for Nakir. When students transfer into retail class, my first hope is that they feel like they belong and that they enjoy themselves. Nakir is a little quiet on the first day, and then boom, he chats with every customer who visits. He joins me on all deliveries we make around the building, loves meeting all staff, all students we come across, talks to everybody. He's silly, he loves to laugh. He's also a hard worker. He's really efficient with every task he learns. And Nakir, I think you love it here at Seneca. Mm-hmm. Do you? Mm-hmm. And I'm really glad that you're my buddy. Next up is Mrs. Heather Gardner.
Hello. My People's Choice recipient is none other than Joelle Escudero. Over the past 2 years, I've been impressed with the endless efforts that Joelle puts into every day at Seneca. School has not always been easy for Joelle, but you wouldn't know that by looking at his grades or by seeing him in the hall smiling or cheering with his football teammates or whizzing by you on a race on the track field. Joelle greets me every day with a smile and a few words that makes me feel special. This is what Joelle does for many people at Seneca. I thought Joelle's smiles and kind words were saved just for me. I would think, isn't that nice? Like Joelle comes and says hi to me every day and we chat. And then I found out that Joelle has smile and kind words for many staff at Seneca. He takes time each day to make others feel special. I asked Joelle once what he likes about Seneca, and he said, I feel safe. And that is what family does for you. They make you feel safe. I am so thankful that Joelle has been placed in my life, and I am a better person because of him. Thank you, Joelle, and your good stuff.
Thank you.
You gotta come with me, you gotta get a picture. And next up is Miss Vasconcelos.
Hi, everyone. My People's Choice nominee for 2023 is Olivia Moore. Come on up, Olivia. So, Olivia, you are a very deep thinker and an amazing self-advocate. You set goals for yourself, and you work harder than anyone I know to achieve them. You're bubbly, you're energetic, funny, and kind. You go out of your way every day to make everyone's day a little brighter, and you always stop by my office once, twice, occasionally 3 times a day, which I always enjoy seeing you. For all of these reasons and many more, you are my People's Choice nominee. You're a wonderful young woman, and I can't wait to see all that you achieve. Congratulations. And next up is Mrs. Jackie Lambusta.
Good evening. I'd like to call up Jamar Worthen. From the first day I met Jamar, he brought nothing but positivity and a smile to each and every interaction, whether it be in the classroom or in the halls of Seneca. Jamar is mature, respectful, open-minded, and sincere. He has impressed me with his ability and confidence in relating and sharing the connections he has made between new material and his life experiences. Through his contributions to class discussions, I have come to know how much he values his family, how loyal he is to those closest to him, and how focused and disciplined he is in setting and achieving any and all goals he creates for himself. In my opinion, and from my experiences with Jamar, I believe him to be a role model for his peers and an asset to Seneca. For these reasons, I'm proud to present to you Jamar Worthen as my People's Choice recipient. Next up, Mr. DiOrio.
All right, my People's Choice Award for this year is Vanessa Audi. So Vanessa is everything you could ask for in a student. She's hardworking, resilient, and always thoughtful in her answers. But more importantly, Vanessa is a great person. She demonstrates excellent character every day through her interactions with her classmates, staff, and her teammates on Seneca's unified basketball team. People like Vanessa are what makes Seneca such a special place. Congrats. All right, I'm going to also be doing Mr. Seeley. He wasn't able to attend, but I was very excited when I found out who he nominated, so let me get this one going. So for Mr. Seeley, in my TV3 class, there was a small group of friends who like nothing more than to poke fun of each other the way you do around the Thanksgiving table. Dave Cohen. Dave Cohen offered me a seat at that table. I still don't know if that was a gesture of kindness or an evil plot just to make fun of the teacher. Being at the table has given me the opportunity to have open dialogue with the class. The conversations are reminders that sometimes our students just need to be heard. Thanks for the seat, Dave. Next up, Miss LaGrange.
My People's Choice Award winner is Hannah Foster. Hannah Foster is an integral part of the ADL peer training and No Place for Hate programs we have here at Seneca. She is tasked with running interactive workshops for her peers that promote community, inclusivity, respect, and equity. Hannah is passionate about this mission, and it comes across in her ability to connect with both middle and high school students. Hannah will take this passion far into the future. Hannah Foster. Next up is Miss Renee Collins.
All right, in the beginning of every year is exciting. To see old faces in your class, and even more exciting and sometimes slightly terrifying to meet new students to see what personalities we're going to mix together. Will it be a recipe for disaster or success? Only time will tell. I met a student who comes in every day with a smile, excuse me, and a bounce in her step, just excited about the day and what we're going to do and learn, and is so talkative and bubbly. Although that's not a home up here celebrating tonight. My People's Choice was pretty much the opposite. He came in the beginning of the year almost expressionless, although I did see a shift in his facial expressions whenever I opened my mouth to talk. It would move from being deadpan to slightly/completely annoyed, which I found hilarious because he didn't talk much because his face said it all. I would make it a game and just say things to see his reaction. Eventually, we did build a rapport. In the beginning of the year, we're going through the normal get-to-know-you activities, and I asked him what their favorite sport or team was. Mind you, it's important to note that the class he was sitting in was sports marketing. I got answers like the Eagles, Phillies, Cowboys, which I let slide. And I get to him, and he kind of stares at me, and he says, "I hate sports." I'm like, "Okay, so you picked this class. Like, nobody forced you to be here." He's like, "I know." I'm like, "Solid choice, buddy, solid choice." Eventually, he started to talk to more, albeit it's 80% complaints. The other 20% was generally made up of comments under his breath that I was meant to hear, but it made it seem like I wasn't, and then with such a power move would stare at me. But I threw that in the win column because at least he's participating. And then he started to come eat lunch in my room with some other juniors that are also fantastic humans, which then turned into not only taking his regular sports marketing class, but coming to the other one that I have and eating lunch. So we went from two cats circling, trying to figure each other out, to seeing each other 3 times a day. It was during these lunches that I really got to know him. I found out that he is an old soul. He values humor, family, other people, and hard work, although not so much of the hard work in the classroom, but definitely outside of the classroom. I respect and enjoy many things about this kid, but if I said them all, I'd be here for a while, and I was told to keep it short-ish. I try not to eavesdrop because there are things that you cannot unhear in the lunch conversations. But one day he said something that caught my attention. A student was going through a rough patch in her relationship and talking about it, and general advice was just like, dump him, move on. A little while later, I heard him say to her, and these are not his exact words, but it's along the lines. And it was quiet. He said, "You're better than that. You don't deserve that, and you can do better." Those few words struck something inside of me, and I looked at him differently after that. I respected his consideration. I don't know if I respect this as much as I am in awe, but his lack of planning is actually impressive. We were talking about life, actually today. Like, what are you going to do after high school? And upon asking him what he wants to do, he's like, "I don't know. I don't even know which way I'm driving home today." I'm like, fair enough. The world is your oyster. I respect his dry, matter-of-fact humor that he can dish out, but also take like a pro. And lastly, I respect his tough talk, which is all just a charade. When there is a trip or a project, he's like, "I'm not going," or "I'm not doing it." I'm like, "Okay, okay." He's like, "Seriously?" I'm like, "Okay." He's like, "It's not going to be fun." I'm like, "Okay, oh no, Ronnie, please go." And he's like, "I'll think about it." I'm involved in the IMAA sports, and this year we had 2 T-ball teams without coaches, and I'm going to brag about some of the other students at Seneca too. I had 6 students that heard this and stepped up and said, "We'll coach." Ronnie was not one of them. He's like, "I'm not doing that." Yet I'm up at the fields, and here comes Ronnie with David Vaca lugging T-ball equipment to come up and coach these little guys. Full on sweat by the end. I consider myself extremely lucky this year because I have great students, and it was really hard to narrow it down to 1, but it's frowned upon to pick 6 kids, so here we are. I made a good choice because when talking to some other teachers, and when they asked who I picked, I said his name, and they gave me a nod. They were like, So I'm going to assume it was a nod of approval and not a, interesting nod. Congratulations to my 2023 People's Choice nominee, Ronnie Harker. So, wait, Ronnie, I'm proud of you. I appreciate you. And I'm glad you decided to stick it out, and maybe we can do it again next year. All right. I have to read for the next person. All right. Okay. So you're stuck with me for one more. I'm going to be reading from Mrs. Ellen Rontinelli. And I'd like to call up Victoria LePage. Vicki LePage is a unique artist and kind student. In my class freshman year, she was always eager to chat and share interesting stories of events happening in her life. I was immediately impressed with her artistic abilities and would encourage her to pursue this as a career. Although I haven't had Vicki in my class since freshman year, she is always friendly, outgoing, and kind whenever I see her here at Seneca. Congratulations, Vic. And then I would like to introduce Mrs. Julie Smith.
For the record, my nod, Ronnie, was a nod of approval. All right, so my People's Choice recipient, Morgan Loftus, walks a path between two worlds. In one, she's a teenager, avid Taylor Swift fan, and aspiring journalist. In the other, she's a deaf student forced to overcome obstacles few of her fellow classmates will ever recognize. She walks between these worlds with power and grace and works to make both worlds better for herself and for others. Through the course of our year together, I've watched her face various challenges in the world of the deaf. Student announcements that require an interpreter because we don't have the technology to create subtitles. Videos used in class for which subtitles have to be typed out because otherwise they're horribly wrong and void of meaning. A phone call to the classroom that she can't take because sound waves travel differently over the phone than they do in person. A class trip to see Macbeth that it would only be accessible if we could make the theater secure an interpreter. She's tough, and she perseveres. But tonight I want to celebrate the power of your words, Morgan, whether spoken, signed, or written, and your ability to teach. Often people want to say the right thing, but don't know what to say, so they're silent. You have enough silence in your world, so make noise, Morgan. Shatter the silence, advocate, tell the world what you need, share your experience. This year, you've taught your teachers and staff how we can make phone calls work for all of our students who don't hear a voice on the other end of the line. You've taught your classmates to imagine what people are capable of beyond their own experiences, to consider not if, but how. You've taught me that there are people and organizations that will support those of us that want to help if we make noise. I'll never forget the beauty of watching the interpreters at the Macbeth play and knowing that that theater is now going to budget interpreters in their future performances. So keep using your words to shatter the silence, create necessary conversations, teach. Your words are already changing both of your worlds, and you're just getting started. Thank you. I just want to thank our interpreter, Samantha, as well, for being here. Thank you. And I also would like to, introduce Miss Karen O'Neill.
My People's Choice recipient is someone that I really just got to know this school year, Grace Malillo. I had seen Grace in the hallways and out on the athletic fields, and I already knew she was a tremendous athlete and student, but I didn't know her determination, perseverance, and strength until this school year. Grace approached me earlier this school year with the proposal to bring back Seneca's talent show for two main reasons. First, as a way to increase school spirit at Seneca and give our students something else to be involved in, and second, as a way to honor her late father by donating the proceeds to the charity All Kids Need Music. Throughout the process of planning the event, Grace hit many obstacles and roadblocks, but she was undeterred and determined to see it through. I was so impressed with Grace throughout the entire event and the planning of it. Not only her determination and perseverance, but also her poise and grace as she ran the event that evening. I was reminded through watching her plan and run the event how much we can learn from our students and that they can be role models for us as well if we let them be. Grace, thank you for taking the chance on this event. And thank you for being a role model to all of us at Seneca, especially myself this year. And next up is Mr. Matt Carr.
My People's Choice Award goes to Jason Shears. Jason shines as a student and an athlete, but his best attributes include humility, earnestness, and awareness of the world around him. Jason is confident, but he knows that there is no substitute for hard work. He knows when to take things seriously, exhibiting politeness and a natural willingness to lead by example, yet he maintains an incredible sense of humor. Jason is endlessly optimistic and self-assured, and I just want to recognize the positive impact he has on the Seneca family. Next up is Mrs. Becky Ellis.
Hello, my People's Choice Award is Avi Vasikanis. I had a terrible curse of People's Choice Awards, and my last year's People's Choice Award did so good that I decided to do it again. It's not often that you have a student in class that shares the same passion for your class as you do. I teach automotive technology. Sometimes I'll try to finish an auto project on my prep period, and I look up and I see Avi coming into the room to help me because she knows that I need the help and I won't ask for it. So much so that some of my students in my class have asked me if she's my daughter. I don't have a daughter, but if I did, that's who I would pick. She always has a smile, a laugh, and a helping hand for anyone that needs it in not just the tech department, but in all of Seneca. Next up, I'd like to introduce Ms. Tracy Betts.
My People's Choice this year is Jackson Bauer. Last year, Jackson was a standout student in my AP Language and Composition class. This year, he's a stand outside of my door and wander into my classroom every period type of student. For that, I need to apologize to Jackson's current teachers. I don't really need him to help me with student council stuff as often as he claims. Yet, at the same time, I want to thank Jackson. Those little pop-ins that I always yell at you about are often the highlight of my day. Over the last 10 years, I've seen Jackson grow from a literal munchkin in Seneca's musical performance of The Wiz into a confident yet grounded student council leader and student athlete who has created his own space and path at Seneca High School. I'm going to miss Jackson incredibly next year as he continues his academic and athletic career at the United States Coast Guard Academy. I have no doubt that he will thrive in the challenging and rigorous environment. The Academy prides itself on selecting candidates who display strong qualities of mind, body, and character. Jackson Bauer is a leader who models these attributes in everything he does, leaving a lasting impression on all those who are fortunate enough to work alongside of him. The Seneca family clearly runs strong in his household, yet our Seneca family is stronger because of Jackson Bauer. And next up, we have Jamie Myers reading for Lee Timpano.
In his 4 years at Seneca, Max Borton inspired a completely new approach to inclusion. You want to stand here the whole time? Okay. Max was a crucial champion to our students with special needs, and we turned to him often. It started with him helping his good friend get on the bus, and evolved into setting up a brand new class to join students together who would have never had the opportunity to learn from each other. Max was the first student approached to run this class, knowing he would continue to be the leader in inclusion he has grown to be. Seneca is better having had Max here, visiting our students while they work, dancing at our special needs prom, and showing everyone how important a little love and friendship can be. Okay, next up is Mrs. Kelly Puder.
All right. Each year, I give this award to someone who makes life better for those around them. Nick Brower. That's one of the many reasons. Nick has so many positive qualities, but the one that made me nominate him is he is the happiest human alive. Nick comes to class every single day with a positive attitude, a big smile, and a fun greeting for the whole class, and especially me. He's a great kid that cares about his classmates and teachers. I met Nick when he was a sophomore in chemistry. That was fun. And he showed what a hard worker he was then. This year I've had the pleasure of Nick in my astronomy class. I know Nick has many other talents, including being an awesome tennis player, but this amazing talent that you have for making people smile will serve you well in all that you do in the future. Nick, thank you for making my days brighter. Up next, Dr. Dave Kinnett.
My People's Choice selection this year is the amazing and confident Carly Carter. I first met Carly through her role as an ADL peer trainer. Because of Carly's enthusiasm, reliability, and commitment to the program, she became one of the go-to trainers for us. This year, Carly agreed to miss her classes and train students at Indian Mills Memorial School and Olson Middle School. She is a role model for others, and I have no doubt that she will continue advocating for and serving as an ally for individuals and groups who are marginalized. Thank you, Carly, for your dedication to Seneca and our communities. And our next presenter is Mrs. Morgan Crothers.
My People's Choice goes to Pam Castro. Pam has brightened my day every day since she walked into my classroom freshman year. Even though I haven't had her as a student since then, she always stops by to chat with me with a smile on her face while it keeps me up to date on her life. I'm really going to miss her in our conversations next year. Next up is Jay Donahue.
My People's Choice Award goes to Jake Cheney. If you don't know Jake, Jake is just a really good dude. He's a pleasure to be around. I've had him in class this year, and I got to know him on the football field, so a couple different settings. But he puts a lot of effort and enthusiasm into everything that he does, his schoolwork, his athletic goals, and even his Disney senior trip planning. All right, seriously, I have him in world geography. He went around taking pictures in Epcot of all the different countries, so more power to Jake there. As a sophomore out on the football field, Jake wanted to play tight end, and the coaching staff decided to move him to the offensive line, which is a pretty big sacrifice. Although maybe not super excited at first, Jake became a really good left tackle. We were 10-2 this year, and he became a captain on our team, and we wouldn't have been able to do it without guys like Jake. I'm really proud of him. He's come a long way, and I can't wait to see what's in store for him as he goes to Rowan University next year, even if he is a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. So, Jake Cheney. Next up is Mrs. Amy Mosser.
My People's Choice Award goes to Jake Chaudhry. I've had the pleasure to teach Jake twice. The first was during our hybrid year when Jake was a shining star in my Algebra 2 class. He was in person as much as he physically could be. He was on camera with his camera on when he was at home. He completed all of his work and he actively participated in class every day. That was very rare that year. This was such a breath of fresh air, and I'm so grateful for Jake during that difficult time. On the last day of school, he said to me, and he may not even remember this, but he said to me that the reason he worked so hard was because he was really hoping that he'd get to take my calculus class senior year. Fast forward 2 years, and now I have Jake in AP Calculus. I'm so impressed by how much he has come out of his shell and how much he has grown. He left sophomore year still a little shy and unsure of himself, and has emerged this year as a confident and outgoing senior, all while maintaining the same drive and determination for success. Jake, I'm so proud of you, and I can't wait to see what you accomplish in the future. Thank you for being a bright light in my day. Up next, Mrs. Katie Gosker.
Leo Bousquier has a quote, "Too often we underestimate the power of a touch, a smile, a kind word, a listening ear, an honest compliment, or the smallest act of caring, all of which have the potential to turn a life around." My 2023 People's Choice Award this year lives by this quote, and I'm sure she doesn't even know it, Jasmine Cruz. As a coach, you come across many different types of athletes, but Jasmine is one of a kind. On top of pushing herself every day, she pushes her teammates by using kindness, encouragement, and shows up every day with a smile on her face and leaves with one as well. She's willing to make sure all of her teammates are okay and see if they need anything. Jasmine, you made your mark on Seneca and our volleyball team and my heart. Good luck next year at Penn State.
Good evening. My People's Choice is Luke Gibbs. Come on over, Gibster. So I've had the pleasure of teaching Luke twice. His freshman year, he made quite an impression on me with how smart he was and how much he listened to my class. And as the year went on, I kept saying, would you turn in that lab? Would you turn in that homework? He's like, yeah, I got that. No, he didn't. And then he said, oh, I'm going to take your AP Bio class next year, Mrs. Horner. I'm like, oh, okay, Luke, are you going to do the labs? The lab reports. Now, he did the labs, and that was during our hybrid year, which was very scary, actually, because I had one kid on a computer, had two other kids, and then Luke, who was like a bull in a china store, you know? And when we were working with bacteria and transforming it, Luke was just like, I got this, and he's doing it. I'm just like, okay, Luke, just do it right. And the kid online is watching, and the other kids are watching. But he was like the best one in the lab, and he always knew what was going on. So he's one smart kid, and if I could just get him to do his work. But I kept pushing, and this year I heard you're doing your work. I'm so proud of you. But in all seriousness, Luke is a good soul, and he loves to talk, politics, if anybody didn't notice. And I love to talk those politics with him too. And I'm truly going to miss him next year because every time he stopped in my room, I was just touched because he would introduce his girlfriend to me or he would ask me for advice, but he would always give me that little Luke laugh and those dimples that would shine, and he would make my day. So Luke, you're my people's choice. Congratulations.
That's why I love you.
Next up is Miss Ellie O'Neill.
Hi, my people's choice is Gabe Fiducia. Okay. I've been Gabe's teacher for 4 years now. We have been through a lot, and he has made so much progress. But the reason I wanted to recognize Gabe is because he is the definition of Seneca family. He knows and will say hi to every student in this school and then ask how their parents or siblings are. He also knows he knows almost every staff member and sometimes even refers to them by their first name or mom, dad, uncle, etc. Gabe truly cares about his Seneca family, and the students and staff love him right back. Gabe has made me a better teacher. He has made lifelong impacts on his peers, and Seneca as a whole is better because of Gabe. I'm so proud of him and can't wait to see everything else he will accomplish here with his Seneca family. Next up, Dr. Sean Castle.
Okay, so I'm reading on behalf of Mr. Andy Kennard, who had a last-minute emergency and could not make it. So Mr. Kennard's People's Choice Award winner is Joseph Casano. So on behalf of Mr. Kennard, I had Joe in class as a freshman and as a senior. Pleasant, conversational, funny, kind, helpful, responsible, or just a few words that could describe him. Joe is the type of student that every teacher loves to have in class, and except for having to look for him reading the morning announcements before I could take attendance, Joe was a perfect student. Joe, having you in class made my job a lot easier. Thank you. Okay. Up next, Miss Johanna Metzger.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight. My People's Choice Award this year goes to McKenna Hagan. This student has been such a pleasure to watch grow and evolve within her 4 years here at Seneca High School. From having McKenna as an underclassman on our soccer team, to then as a student in our AP Environmental Science class, I've been able to proudly witness McKenna's impactful journey of self-discovery. The memory that shines brightest in my knowing of McKenna is her influence of the term PPT that began one practice during soccer season. PPT stands for the power of positive thinking. Whenever anyone on her team was feeling frustrated or defeated, she would shout, PPT, to remind everyone around her that all it takes is a slight shift in mindset to see the silver lining of any cloud. Little does she know, that reminder didn't just influence her team, but it influenced me too, and still does today. McKenna possesses traits that are rare in her generation. She is fierce yet kind, she is real yet optimistic, and most impressively, she is unapologetically herself. She has the courage to step out of her comfort zone, and that is bravery that will take you very far in life, Ken. I hope that you continue to remember that being your true self is being your best self. I feel so honored to have gotten the chance to coach and teach a human like you. Keep adding goodness to the world, McKenna. Next up, KB Smith.
I got the big font. Redzi. My choice is Gavin Redzi Klein. I had to look up his real name. And I got the grade wrong too, but I do like Redzi. Redzi's that unique kid you have in class who is a real experience. That experience can take many forms, some good, some bad, but all are the Redzi experience. He is amused, befuddled, and totally confused me now for 3 years, and I thank him for that. Redzi? Next up, Chad Davino.
My people's choice is Fatima Aranzo. Fatima Aranzo Martinez. In this lifetime, we experience a lot of firsts and lasts. First time riding a bike, first time going to school, first time using a locker, first and last time going to a school dance, first time going to a high school football game, last day walking the halls of your high school. For a Spanish exchange student, Fatima Aranza Martinez, it was her first time navigating United States high school. Her first and last time going to a high school prom. Her first and last time playing a high school sport. Her first and last time learning the NACL way of life. Fatima's persistence and ability to navigate a foreign place was truly remarkable this year. In addition to learning an advanced curriculum, she had to do so despite some language barriers, her family being 5,000 miles away, and not knowing or having any friends here. Fatima was able to work around all these obstacles and make the most of her studying abroad experience. I have no doubt that she will continue to navigate all of her future obstacles. And because of her persistence and not backing down from any of these challenges, I have no doubt that she'll continue to be successful in life. Although this was her first time coming to Seneca, I just hope it wasn't her last. Thank you. Up next is Miss McHugh.
So for this year, it was very hard for me to just pick one person. So my people's choice is Audrey McHugh, Kelly Carbone, and Hannah Cutts. As I was writing this, it was very difficult just to try and pick one person because the three of these are three awesome young ladies. Over the past 4 years, I've had the pleasure of creating a very special relationship with these three girls you see standing here. As their teacher, coach, and mentor, I've been fortunate enough to be a part of their high school career in many different ways. Normally, it is students who reflect on their teachers in years past or years forward who have made an impact on their high school years. But for me, these three girls are impacting my life every single day. Your 4 years of thoughtful notes and cards, your kindness of watching my dogs all the time, and our conversations will never be lost on me. I will always look back on these years and think how truly awesome you were and how much you've impacted my life for the better. Seneca is losing some pretty awesome girls. But I'm really excited to see you and follow you for the rest of your lives. Without a doubt, I know the next chapter is going to be an incredible adventure, and it's important for you to know how much you impact someone's life here for the better. Best of luck. Next up is Miss Sue Johnson.
Good evening. I'm glad that I've had the pleasure of watching my People's Choice Award winner grow over the past 4 years. I got to watch him go through many phases, as well as many phases of his different haircuts. My People's Choice Award winner is Ryan Monty. Each time I would see him, he would always have a different look, a different length of hair, but one thing always stayed the same. We always had great conversations. He's very deep, and he's very insightful, and I always appreciated the conversations we had. I met Ryan as a freshman in my newcomers group, and then I got to work with him as a school counselor over the past 4 years. He is an awesome student, but more importantly, he is an awesome person. I can't wait to see what the future has in store. Congratulations, Ryan. Next up, Mrs. Doolittle.
Good evening. Precise, accurate, meticulous describes my People's Choice work ethic. My 2023 choice is Matt Moore. Matt is a conscientious student who strives to achieve success and perfection in every assignment. He is attentive, very witty, and a pleasure to work with. I know Matt will be an asset on any path he chooses to follow. Best of luck in all future endeavors. Congratulations. Next up, the shining Lieutenant Colonel Sevening.
"14 months ago, I spent money on something many said I would only wear once. Tonight, I again proved them wrong. It is a big deal tonight for me to announce my People's Choice Award winner, and therefore, I went very far to the back of my closet to retrieve a special coat for a special occasion for a very special young man and threw it on for a third time. As a teacher and a coach, I have the honor to watch my student athletes not only excel in the classroom, but on the competitive fields around the state. Students, your teachers and coaches love you all. We love the way you compete in the classroom, the way you help your fellow students when times are toughest, and celebrate successes as brothers and sisters as a Seneca family. It is with great pride that I have selected Michael Orth to receive my People's Choice Award. I've been blessed with the opportunity to coach and teach Michael throughout his high school career. I have been even more blessed to watch this young man lead by example, never cutting corners to reach success, never walking away from the toughest challenges. Michael approaches the game of life like he approaches every sport he has ever played. He does it with passion, with the grittiest of grit, with humility, professionalism, and love. Michael is an example of how all of us should approach life, and it is with a smile, with a deep desire to sacrifice your time for others or your body for your teammates. I'm perhaps most proud of Mike, not for the way he would dive for fly balls or sprint down the baseline when he got walked, nor his decision to play baseball at Gettysburg College, which is going to be pretty amazing, but rather his decision to pursue a life of service for his country. I cannot wait to see the positive difference Michael makes in this world for others. Congratulations, Mike. Next up, Mr. Bauer.
Good evening. Congratulations to all of our honorees tonight. My People's Choice Award this year goes to Mr. Kyle Picard. Kyle has been a pleasure to work with over the past several years, both as his counselor and as his coach. I've known him since he was a young kid, and he has matured and grown into an outstanding young man. Kyle went out of his comfort zone this past year and did a fantastic job in the special education creative drama class. He took on the task with great attitude and energy. He has compassion, he is respectful, and he is well-mannered. He is also dedicated, determined, and hardworking, as shown in his success in the classroom and on the wrestling mats. I have no doubt that Kyle will be successful in all he does in the future. While I'm proud of all the gold medals you've won, I'm more proud of the young man you've become. Congratulations, Kyle.
Hi, I'm going to be reading on behalf of Miss Cuneo, Abby. I am so glad that through Penny we were introduced during your freshman year. Abby Sheldon. I am glad that you have trusted me. I am going to miss our chats greatly. You visiting Penny each morning and during lunch and learn with a huge smile always brighten my days. You are such a wonderful young lady, and I cannot wait to see what the future holds for you. You are strong, you are worthy, and you are awesome. Congratulations. Reading next is our principal, Mr. Brad Bauer.
My People's Choice is Anya Strobel. There are many reasons I could have chosen Anya as my People's Choice Award winner. However, it was watching her work with our special education students that stood out for me. Anya was in our creative drama class with our special education students this year. She played a vital role in supporting and nurturing the unique abilities of our students to help them reach their full potential. Her patience, her empathy, her understanding while working with our students was remarkable. But her care, love, and true friendship for her classmates extended beyond her class as well. I recall visiting our MD classroom during their annual Halloween party, and there was Anya spending time with each student, dancing with them in their Halloween costumes. The pure joy on the face of our students, Anya's included, made me realize how special Anya Strobel really is. Anya, I want to thank you for your dedication, your patience, and your unwavering commitment to making a positive difference in the lives of some of your fellow classmates. You are a reminder to me of how rewarding it is to work at Seneca High School. Thank you, Anya. Now back to the podium, Ms. Laura Bonet.
Hello again. My People's Choice nominee is a student that is actually no longer my student. Kyle Yeager is my nominee. I was lucky enough to get to know Kyle his junior year during U.S. History 2, where he impressed me with his love and knowledge of history. Kyle later became an honorary student in my study center class, where I got to know him as the kind-hearted and dedicated young man that he is. A young man dedicated to his family and to his job, a young man dedicated to his church, and a young man dedicated to his country, as Kyle will proudly be joining the United States Marines after graduation. Congratulations, Kyle. With closing remarks, Ms. LaGrange.
Congratulations to all our award winners. Students, remember to keep this medal and wear it proudly at your graduation. Thank you to all who made this event possible this evening, Mrs. Jamie Myers, Mrs. Laura Benet, and Mrs. Renee Collins from Renaissance, as well as those who worked hard to make this evening a beautiful one, Mr. Walter Klaus, Mr. Don Ogle, Mr. Steve Nahill, and Mr. Kirk Seeley, and the rest of the tech crew. Students, please stand for one last round of applause.